Get it back to college football. As we all know, Scott Frost is out at Nebraska. They got to do a coaching search. So I'm going to give you my Not Friday 5 Nebraska head coach candidates. Now, these aren't necessarily the top guys. These are some guys that are just intriguing to me. Starting off with number 5, Tom Herman. He was my offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Now, I'm not trying to play politics here. I haven't talked to Tom Herman since then, but I think this is a really intriguing one. He had success at Houston, built that program up. He had a little bit of success at Texas, although people would say that he fell short. He did have a 10-win season there in a Sugar Bowl. But the reason I bring that up is Nebraska has always done well when they can recruit the state of Texas, so he's got some natural ties there. Mentions his experience in the Big Ten. I think that really matters. A great offensive mind. He's somebody that I would probably have a conversation with. Number 4, Mark Stoops. Now, the interesting thing about this one, you're at Kentucky. It's a basketball school. What are your expectations? Not a lot of expectations there. So do you want to go to a job like Nebraska where there are expectations? But what he does bring is recruiting prowess in the South because he's in the SEC, but he also has a good foothold of the Midwest because of Kentucky's proximity. He's recruited the state of Ohio well, which is what a lot of good teams do from the region. So I think he would be an interesting candidate there as well. How about Lance Leipold? You got a guy who spent a lot of time at Wisconsin Whitewater, 109-6 record there with some national championships, has some Nebraska ties in his past as well. You look at what he's doing at Kansas right now, only 4 wins. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is Kansas. They own a victory over Texas. Very intriguing. He's a guy who has a lot of winning in his past, and again, some ties to Nebraska there. Number 2, Matt Campbell. I mean, this guy, the amount of success that he's had at Iowa State stands out. Last coach who had a winning record there besides him was Earl Bruce back in the 70s. Again, regional familiarity. He's a guy who can recruit in that area. I think they need a really good recruiter. A sharp football coach who understands how to build culture within a program, something feels like was missing under Scott Frost. But the number 1 guy I would go after is Dave Aranda. He's a defensive coordinator at Wisconsin, did phenomenal there, understands Big Ten football, understands great defense, very different from most guys that they would probably take a look at, which might be a good shift for them. What he's doing at Baylor right now rose that program up from the dead to really become a contender that we talk about. Was phenomenal when he was defensive coordinator at LSU. So, you mentioned the ties to the South in recruiting, the ties to Texas, which I said were important. But ultimately, a winner who knows how to build a program, familiar to the Big Ten. These are some guys I'd probably go ahead and roll the dice on, make some phone calls, and see if we can't get them in the building.